Hello everyone. Today's topic is a very important topic, and the topic is G20. And this G20 is with respect to India's G20 presidency. So first of all, we have to have an idea about G20. See, first we have G7 countries. G7 countries are US, UK, Italy, Japan, Canada, France, Germany. So US, UK, Germany, France, Italy, Canada, Japan. Eighon whole G7. Then G8 is Russia. And then in G20, our India comes along with other countries like China, Turkey, Brazil, etc. We don't need to mug up all the 20 countries. Just you have to have an idea about this, that what is G7, what is G8 and G20. Now G20 is an informal group. Okay, is an informal group, 19 countries and European Union with representatives of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank. And its presidency rotates annually so that a regional balance over time will be there. For the selection of the presidency, 19 countries are divided into 5 groups, having 4 more countries at most in each group. So is a 19 countries আছে 19 countries-ক 5টা গ্ৰুপত ডিভাইড কৰা আছে আৰু প্ৰতিটো ডিভাইডত 4খন কাউন্ট্ৰি বা 4খন মেক্স 4খন কাউন্ট্ৰি হৈ থাকিব পাৰে now every year the G20 country select a country from another group to be president. So the presidency rotates between each group. Now India যিটো আছে গ্ৰুপত হেতু হৈছে গ্ৰুপ 2 আৰু তাত কি আছে ৰাছিয়া টাৰ্কি আৰু সাউথ আফ্ৰিকা. Now this G20 they don't have a permanent secretariat. Remember, G20 does not have a permanent secretariat or headquarters. মাত্ৰ presidency rotate কৰি থাকে 5টা গ্ৰুপত ডিভাইড কৰি পেলাই থোৱা হৈছে আৰু প্ৰতিটো গ্ৰুপত 4খনকৈ ষ্টেট মানে কাউন্ট্ৰি থাকিব পাৰে এট মেক্স আৰু আমাৰ যিখন ইণ্ডিয়াৰ গ্ৰুপ আছে যিটো হেতু হৈছে জি গ্ৰুপ 2 আৰু তাত টাৰ্কি ৰাছিয়া ইণ্ডিয়া আৰু সাউথ আফ্ৰিকা আছে. Now if we look at the map you can see that this is our India, this is Russia, this is Turkey and this is South Africa. The 17 G20 যিখন মিটিং হৈছিল সেইখন 2022 ইন্দোনেছিয়াত হৈছিল after which India assumed the presidency of G20 from December 2022 and this presidency will last for 1 year. So you might remember, you might recall that you have seen the banners like this G20 গুৱাহাটীত দেখা পাইছে চাগে আপোনালোকে গুৱাহাটী এয়াৰপৰ্টতো আছিল আৰু বাহিৰতো বহুত ভালকৈ সজোৱা আছিল. তাত first of all, what you have to notice is that the theme is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means one earth, one family, one future. এখনেই পৃথিৱী এটা ফ্যামিলি লৈ পেলাই এটা ফিউচাৰৰ কাৰণে এটা ভৱিষ্যত আমি এক্সপেক্ট কৰো. One earth, one family, one future, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Okay, you can see the date like that. Now, what are the key points? First, guest countries. India invites Bangladesh, Egypt, Mauritius, Netherlands, Nigeria, Oman, Singapore, Spain, UAE as guest countries. Now, next important point is Troika. Troika মানে হৈছে কি এইবাৰৰ যিখন প্ৰেসিডেন্ট হৈছে G20 আগৰবাৰৰ যিখন প্ৰেসিডেন্ট হৈছিল আৰু তাৰ এতিয়া এইবাৰখনৰ পাছত কোন যিখন হ'ব মানে after this which one will be the president এই তিনটা মিলাই পেলাই ট্ৰয়কা হয়. And this time India, Indonesia, Brazil is forming the Troika. This is the first time that the Troika would consist of 3 developing countries, emerging economies, and providing a very greater voice for the developing countries with respect to developing countries. Now, how we define Troika? Troika refers to the top grouping within the G20 that consists of the current, previous, and the upcoming presidencies. Like in this case, Indonesia, Hoigolzot, India, and Jot Hoise are in Brazil, Jot Hobo. Indonesia, India, and Brazil. Now, what are the thematic priorities of India's G20 presidency? Means what are those important points that India drawn in this G20 presidency? First, inclusive, equitable, and sustainable growth. Inclusive, equitable, and sustainable growth. Then next, life. Life stands for lifestyle for environment. Then women's empowerment, then digital public infrastructure and tech-enabled development in areas ranging from health, agriculture, education to commerce. So India is focusing on digital public infrastructures and tech-enabled development. In which sectors? Health, agriculture, and education to commerce. So India digital public infrastructure for basic focus korise. Then skill mapping, culture and tourism, climate financing, circular economy, global food security, energy security, green hydrogen, disaster risk reduction and resilience. So we have to at least remember a few terms like climate, culture and tourism, because India is focusing now culture-based tourism. Remember, we can write this point with respect to our essay also. India or even our Assam is focusing on culture-based tourism. মানে এখন জেগাৰ এটা যেটো কালচাৰ আছে হেতু ফোকাস কৰা হৈছে টুৰিজমত দেন সার্কুলার ইকোনমি ইজ এন নিউ টার্ম দেন গ্লোবাল ফুড সিকিউরিটি এনার্জি সিকিউরিটি এন্ড গ্ৰীণ হাইড্ৰোজেন টু কিহৰ কাৰণে ইম্পৰ্টেন্ট কাৰণ গোটেই ভাৰতৰ ভিতৰতে আমাৰ যোৰহাটত গ্ৰীণ হাইড্ৰোজেনৰ যেটো প্ৰজেক্ট লোৱা হৈছে দ্যাট ইজ দা ফাৰ্স্ট প্ৰজেক্ট আৰু এটো এটা ক্লিন এনাৰ্জি প্ৰতি লোৱা এটা ভাল ষ্টেপ. Then disaster risk reduction and resilience. Now next is developmental cooperation, fight against economic crime and multilateral reform. So fight against economic crime and multilateral reforms. Now what are the current issues? So many current issues here mentioned, but we have to focus on few of them. Like after COVID-19 pandemics, most of the national economies have been very drastically affected or impacted, and developing countries facing the extended and multifaceted shock of great magnitude, negative economic growth, financial and liquidity crunch, increased poverty. Then according to UN, the world is off track on the sustainable goals. This is one important say that UN says world is off track on the sustainable goals. Then digital divide, again important term, digital divide between developed and developing nation and within countries, regions and genders have widened. So digital divide lahe lahe bahi goise aru hetu mainly ami dekha pau digital divides between developed and developing countries, and again inside developing countries like in India we can see the digital divide actively means impacting the lifestyle, education, health sectors among different city parts of the country. So region-based digital divide is also there with respect to the poverty level. Then awareness level is also concerned. Then climate change issues are also important. They are focused on climate change, disaster and conflicts. Then Taliban takeover of Afghanistan, Ukraine and Russia war. You can write Ukraine and Russia conflicts, food, fuel, fertilizer crisis, inflation, recession, terrorism persists, zero tolerance stance and counter-terrorism focus of the international community seems diluted. Then China, continued Chinese muscle flexing. So etu upor bahut focus kora hoise, continued Chinese muscle flexing. Now recent recent news like China is avoiding this meat in Kashmir or like that. We can go through it again once again in different lecture. Then rise of this is not important. Then north-south divisions within the G20. Within the G20 we can see the north-south divisions. Now, what steps India can take? First of all, previous summit, India can build on the decision and mechanisms of previous summits, mobilizing global solidarity of solution to pressing the problems of humanity. So India will focus on the problems of the humanity, mobilizing global solidarity. Then India's multi-alignment can be leveraged to bridge the systematic and ideological differences and spark a mindset change. So India can show its own example of multi-alignment, because India is not aligned to only for a particular country or particular group. India is following multi-alignment strategy. So it can be taken as an example to show as a mindset change to the other countries. Then why? Because it will leverage to bridge systematic and ideological differences. then India can drive consensus on some key reforms of United Nations, especially United Security Councils, and then World Bank and IMF. কাৰণ আমি জানো ইউএনৰ সিকিউৰিটি যেটো পাৰ্মানেন্ট মেম্বাৰশ্বিপ আছে হেতু ওপৰত এটা ডাঙৰ ৰিফৰ্মৰ দৰকাৰ হৈছে, then World Bank and IMF. Now, how can G20 help to harness this group? Because G20 could adopt actionable norms and policy. Keneke G20 এইবিলাক problem solve কৰিব পাৰিব, objectives harness কৰিব পাৰিব by adopting actionable norms and policies, growing data and knowledge hubs and best practices, launching mechanism for financing and implementation, advocacy campaigns, impactful programs on the ground, individually, collectively for the benefit of global South. Then ability, now ekini koribole mane prothom actionable norms and policies it has to adopt, then some data and knowledge hubs focusing on it development, then launching mechanism, financial implementation, advocacy campaigns, impactful programs on the ground, especially for the benefit of global South. Now, what are the way forwards? Way forwards are like ability to come together and agree on key reforms, because they all have to come together and agree on the key reforms. Then only reforms on UN Security Councils, on permanent memberships, and then World Bank, and then IMF can be possible. Reforms on those such institutions possible only through collaborative approach, or together if they will come forward and agree on the same. So means of implementation in the economic, financial, political order could make the differences between the world hurtling to calamity or making exponential progress towards peace, prosperity, environmental sustainability. India is seen as a bright spot in the global economic horizon. So India can play as a lighthouse role. Remember, lighthouse role by regionalization and globalizing its achievements. So lighthouse role play koribo pare India nijor achievements kini globalize kori pelai. Then India can offer proven solutions and be a transformer of global South, from social justice projects, digital transformation, climate environment activism to pandemic and disaster relief, etc. So in such areas, India can offer proven solutions. Then PM's Life initiative, that's a very good initiative, lifestyle for environment, global high-level principles, and the creation of an ecosystem for government business covering demand, supply, policy signals, economic framework could be envisaged. Then addressing and securing low-cost funding for the future trajectory of climate-friendly or green development and clean energy technologies that could be game-changing. Then India's robust, inclusive, and interoperative digital public infrastructure model, because India is focusing on developing digital public infrastructure model. Then here I am mentioning the term global South. So you can see in this diagram, this green portion, you can see they are global South, and this red portion are global North. So India is a part of global South. Okay, but you can see that Australia is a part of global North. Similarly, these countries, America and these countries, you can see. So global South, in the case of global South, India can take the role of lighthouse. Then PM seeks to drive a vertical Jana Andolan or people's movement based approach, like One India, because India যেটো এটা approach আছে হেতু আছে One India. সবতে আপোনালোকে আজিকালি দেখিব One India, One ration card. Okay, similarly now our G20 team adopted is what? One Earth, One Family, One Future, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So India seeks, or Prime Minister seeks to drive a vertical Jana Andolan. Now, Voice of the Global South Summit under the theme Unity of Voice, Unity of Purpose. So Voice of the Global South Summit, our theme to key unity of voice, unity of purpose, unity of voice, unity of purpose. Car karone Global South Summit or eta theme hisabe loa hoise. It essentially envisages the bringing together countries of the global South and share their perspective and priorities on a common platform across a whole range of issues. So jiman khini global South countries ase gote khini ekata he country khini nijor problems khini share koribo pare eta global platform tar karone আমাৰ ইণ্ডিয়াই এটা লাইট হাউস ৰোল হিচাপত কৰিছে, ইণ্ডিয়াই মুখ্য ভূমিকা ল'ব পাৰে। আৰু ইয়াৰ বাবে কি কৰিছে, এটা থিম যিটো আমাৰ গ্লোবেল সাউথ সামিটৰ যিটো থিম আছে আৰু সেই চিমটো হৈছে ভইচ unity of voice and unity of purpose, unity of voice, unity of purpose. So this is about G20, very important. আমি দেখিলো G20 টো য'ত নেকি 19 কাউন্ট্ৰিজ আৰু এখন ইউৰোপিয়ান ইউনিয়নৰ পাৰ্ট হৈ পেলাই বনিছে তাত ইন্টাৰনেশ্যনেল মনিটাৰী ফাণ্ড আৰু ৱৰ্ল্ড বেংকৰ ৰিপ্ৰেজেন্টেটিভ আছে ইয়াৰ ৰেচিডেন্টি প্ৰত্যেক বছৰত ৰোটেট হৈ থাকে পাৰ্টিকুলাৰলি 5টা গ্ৰুপত ডিভাইড কৰা আছে প্ৰতিটো গ্ৰুপত 4খন বা তাতকৈ কম কাউন্ট্ৰিজ থাকিব পাৰে ইণ্ডিয়া কাউন্ট্ৰি মানে গ্ৰুপ 2ৰ মেম্বাৰ হয় য'ত নেকি ৰাছিয়া আমাৰ টাৰ্কি দেন সাউথ আফ্ৰিকা ইণ্ডিয়া এই গিটেকেইটা মিলি পেলাই গ্ৰুপ 2ত পাৰ্ট হয় ইণ্ডিয়া G20 যিখন ৰিচেণ্ট সামিট হৈছে 18 সামিট হৈছে তাৰ প্ৰেচিডেণ্ট হিচাপে ভাগ লৈছে আৰু ট্ৰয়কা ফৰ্ম কৰিছে ইণ্ডোনেছিয়া আৰু কাৰ লগত কৰিছে ইয়াৰ নেক্সট যেটো হ'বলগীয়া ব্ৰাজিলৰ লগত সো আমি দেখিলো যে ট্ৰয়কাত কি আছে ইণ্ডিয়া ইণ্ডোনেছিয়া ব্ৰাজিল আৰু ইয়াত যিখিনি থিমেটিক প্ৰায়ৰিটিজ ইণ্ডিয়া লৈছে সেইখিনি ভিতৰত আছে ইনক্লুসিভ ইকুইটেবল সাস্টেইনেবল গ্ৰোথ লাইফষ্টাইল ফৰ এনভায়ৰনমেন্ট ওমেন এম্পাৱাৰমেন্ট ডিজিটেল পাব্লিক ইনফ্ৰাষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ এণ্ড টেক এনেবলড ডেভেলপমেন্ট ইন দ্য সেক্টৰস লাইক হেল্থ এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ টু কমাৰ্চ স্কিল মেপিং কালচাৰ বেসড টুৰিজম ক্লাইমেট ফাইনেন্সিং global food security energy security green hydrogen disaster risk reduction and resilience then development cooperation এইবিলাকত ইণ্ডিয়াই থিমেটিক priorities লৈছে ইয়াৰ গ্লোবাল C20 presidency-shipত. Now, current issue আমি দেখিলো COVID-19 পাছত most of the countries' economy is going down. Developing country আৰু বহুত problem face কৰিলে. Negative economic growth দেখা পোৱা হ'ল. UN কৈছে যে world is far behind, or world is off track on the sustainable development goals. Then digital divide দেখা পোৱা গৈছে developing or developed country মাজত climate change disorder দেখা পোৱা যায় climate change or disorder বা conflicts-ৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত ভাৰতেও বহুত মানে ভূমিকা দেখুৱাবলৈ সক্ষম হৈছে ইয়াৰ কিছুমান ৰিসেন্ট চেঞ্জৰ পৰা দেন climate পাছত আমি দেখিলো Taliban take over of Afghanistan, Ukraine, Russia war, inflation, recession, and then terrorism still persists, China masculine power or masculine flexing, then North-South division দেখা পোৱা গৈছে G20 then steps India যিখিনি ল'ব পাৰে like previous summitৰ যিমানখিনি discussion সেইখিনি ইয়াত কৰাব পাৰে global solidarity to mobilize কৰাব পাৰে humanity ওপৰত বেছি ফোকাস কৰাই পেলাই ইণ্ডিয়াৰ যিটো মাল্টি alignment approach সেইটো এটা এক্সাম্পল হিচাপে ল'ব পাৰে যাতে বাকিবিলাক কাউন্ট্ৰিৰ মাইন্ডসেট চেঞ্জ কৰিব পাৰি to systematic আৰু ideological difference খিনি মানে লগত এটা ব্ৰিজ যাতে গঠন কৰিব পাৰে বা ব্ৰিজ systemic build কৰিব পাৰে আৰু India can drive consensus on key reforms of the UN World Bank IMF এটো বহুত important UN World Bank আৰু IMF-ৰ যিখিনি কি ৰিফৰ্মছ লাগে তাৰ কাৰণে ইণ্ডিয়াই কনসেনসাস জেনাৰেট কৰাবও পাৰে এই G20 সহায়ত আৰু অবজেক্টিভছৰ ভিতৰত এখিনিয়ে আছিল কেনেকৈ অবজেক্টিভছ খিনি কেনেকৈ ফুল কৰিব পাৰে তাৰ বাবে G20 ইণ্ডিয়াই কি কৰিছিলে actionable norms policies data or knowledge hub generate কৰাব পাৰিছিল housing mechanism for financing implementation advocacy campaigns impactful programs on the ground then way forwardৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত আমি দেখা গল যে able to come together and agree on the key reforms then India as a bright spot in the global economic horizon then proven solution and a transformer of the global south PM's Life Initiative addressing and securing low-cost funding for the future trajectory development of climate-friendly and green infrastructures and clean energy technologies. India's robust, inclusive, interoperable digital public infrastructure model. Then PM's 6 driving of veritable Jana Andolan, one earth, one family, one future. Then voice of the global summit under the theme unity of voice, unity of purpose. So এইখিনি আছিল G20 ভিতৰত important point ইয়াৰ পৰা আমি ইয়াৰ ওপৰত যিকোনো প্ৰশ্ন আহিলে আনসাৰ কৰিব পাৰিম so with this I'm ending today's answer on G20 thank you